Warm greetings. Welcome to Swayam Online Learning Portal. I am Dr. S. Ishwari, Head of the Department of Geography, Madras Christian College. So, in the previous lecture, we have discussed about the introduction to climatology. So, today we are going to discuss about what is meant by weather and climate. In this weather and climate, we will be learning the contents of the what is meant by weather and climate, what are all the factors affecting weather and climate, elements of weather, local weather phenomena and weather report, what are all the seasons and types of season, and what are all the instrument which is used to record the atmospheric condition, and climate classifications, and climate how influences the human activities. So, these were all the contents we are going to discuss in this lecture. What is meant by weather and climate? Weather and climate of a place is dependent upon atmospheric condition of that place. We have to check what all the difference between weather and climate. Weather is a short term condition of the atmosphere in a particular place, while comparing to the climate, it is a long term state of weather patterns of the large area. Then coming to the weather, what are all the factors which affecting the weather? They are temperature, air pressure, precipitation, wind and moisture, cloudiness and visibility. While coming to the climate system, so affected by latitudes and altitudes. In weather, it changes few minutes or hours. It is a continuous changing process in a short period of time in a particular place. While coming to the climate, it is a change after a long time. It is forecasted by collecting meteorological data such as temperature, pressure, precipitation, humidity, wind, etc. While coming to the climate, it is forecasted by collective meteorological statistics for a 30 years and above years of climate condition. Weather, it is while we study the weather in a scientific way, it is called as meteorology. While coming to the climate, if we study the climate in a scientific way, it is called as climatology. Factors affecting weather and climate. So, what are all the factors which affect weather and climate? They are solar radiation, pressure and wind, relief and topography, proximity to ocean, human influence. So, these are all the factors which influence weather and climate. So, these factors will be discussed in detail in the upcoming next lecture, that is elements and factors which control climate. What is meant by weather? So, weather is nothing but it is a day to day condition of the atmosphere over a short period of time. So, if somebody is going to ask you what is the weather today, what we will be doing. So, you will be going out from the home or opening the window and you will be seeing the weather condition, what is this, and you will be giving the answer whether it is raining or whether it is a sunny day or it is a windy in condition or the storms happening at the particular point of time. So, this the short period of time and minute to minute change of condition is known as the weather. Elements of weather. So, what are all the elements of weather? The elements of weather consist of temperature. So, temperature is nothing but measuring in terms of degree of heat and cold. How heat and cold? So, if you go outside your home, you will feel either hot or cold or mild weather. So, that is the degree of heat and cold, and it varies by latitudes, altitudes and seasons. So, these are all the criteria by which the degree of heat and cold can be analyzed. The next one is air pressure. So, how the air pressure is considered to be the element of weather? The force exerted to the atmosphere. So, what force? If the force of the air pressure is high, there will be a storm. If the force of the air pressure is low, there will be as gentle breeze. So, in such a way the air pressure is one of the important element of weather. It also affects the wind movement. So, the gusty wind as well as the gentle breeze. So, what is meant by wind? The wind is the horizontal movement of air from high to low pressure. That is, we know that always wind will be moving from high pressure towards the low pressure. The next one is humidity. So, humidity is the water vapor content which is present in the atmosphere, that is air. So, how it affects? It affects the comfortness as well as the precipitation. So, next one is precipitation. So, what is maybe the precipitation? The precipitation is the water released from the clouds. So, it may be in the form of rain, snow, hail. Next element is cloud cover and sunshine. So, what is meant by cloud cover and how it influences it? The cloud cover, if there is a dense cloud cover, it restricts the sunshine inside the air surface. It acts as a shield and it prevents the sunshine to some extent. If it is a clear sky, the sunshine will be very high and we will be experiencing the hot type of weather on that particular day. Next one is a local weather phenomena. What is meant by local weather phenomena? It is a short term localized atmospheric event affected in a small area. Local temperature, local humidity and pressure variation influences the local weather phenomena. So, this temperature, humidity and pressure plays a vital role in local weather phenomena. So, what are all the local weather phenomena? They are thunderstorm, fog, dew, mist, frost, dust storms, tornadoes. Thunderstorm, sudden violent weather with the lightning, thunder, rain and strong wind. So, we have all witnessed this thunderstorm. So, it is a violent weather condition. The next one is it is formed due to rapid upward movement of warm moist air. So, when the warm and moist air move up, so this kind of local weather phenomena will occur. It causes the rainfall, hail and localized floodings. Often it is accompanied by gusty winds and sometimes with tornadoes. Next one is fog. So, fog is nothing but it is a thick cloud of tiny water droplets near the ground. It reduces the visibility sometimes to the few meters. So, when we go to a valley section or in nearby the river or during the winter time in the hill station, we can notice this fog. So, where there is a common cold, humid and calm condition which supports this fog formation. Next one is dew. So, the dew is in the form of water vapor condenses into a droplets on cool surfaces. Early morning we might have experienced this kind of dew. We see this one in the ground surface or in the car or in the grasses or in the leaves. We might have come across this kind of water droplets in the early morning. So, this occurs. What is the favorable condition to form this dew is that it should have the clear, calm nights with a strong radiational cooling. The surface temperature falls below dew point causing the condensation. So, this is the most favorable condition by which this dew is formed. The next is mist. So, the mist, what is the difference between the mist and dew? It is more or less similar. The main thing is that here the reduce in visibility, there also it reduce in visibility, but what happened? It is a less dense than fog. So, this is the main thing. So, fog is somewhat denser than mist. So, this is also a water droplet suspended in the air, occurs when the humidity is high and the air cools near the surface. The common conditions are it will be seen in the early morning and near the water bodies. Frost. The frost is a frozen state So, we see this one in the winter condition. It forms in the air temperature drops below the 0 degree Celsius and the water vapor freezes on the surface. It occurs under the clear skies, calm winds and high night times radiation loss. So, these are all the condition which is required to form frost. It is common in winter and early morning, and in temperate and highland region this is most commonly seen. So, this is a main condition in the temperate region and the highland region. It damages the crops, flowers and young plants by freezing cell fluids. So, it is very dangerous for the crop to grow. Next one is dust storm. So, the dust storm is the condition we all know that if it is going to be a dust storm, it happens in the desert region. So, the strong wind lift the dust and sand from the dry areas will be blowing. The common in the desert and arid region, it reduces the visibility again and it causes the health issues, mainly the respiratory issues, and then the dust when it falls in the eyes, that kind of issues will be created because of this local weather phenomena. It leads to the soil erosions. Once the soil blow from one area to another area, it leads to soil erosion and the transportation of dust to the long distance will occur in that particular weather condition. The next is the tornadoes. The tornadoes is nothing but, you can see in the picture that it is a rotating column of air from thunderstorm to ground. So, it is like a funnel shape, it will be like a funnel shape. It is formed when warm moist air meet cold dry air. So, this was the condition which is prerequisite for this tornadoes, and it is short lived weather phenomena, but it causes very severe destruction. So, it is mostly common in the place of central USA tornado alley and measured by the enhanced Fujita scale, that is EF scale. We have discussed about what is meant by weather, what are the factors influencing weather and climate, and what are all the local weather conditions. So, now weather report. So, what is meant by weather report? Why we need the weather report? So, weather report which provides the current and forecasted weather condition for the place. So, here in the picture you can see that it is a weather condition of a particular place, that is a Pallavaram. So, you can see what is the temperature condition and what is the cloud nature and what are all the local weather phenomena of that particular day or particular point of time. It includes what are all the details we will be getting in this weather report is a temperature, rainfall, humidity, wind and pressure. So, based on the observation of weather stations and satellites and radars, we will be getting such kind of forecast. So, it helps the people to plan their daily activities, and they can plan their travel plans, and what type of crop can be cultivated can be planned with the help of weather report, and safety measures can be done with the help of weather report. This is the next importance of this significance of this weather report is that it gives a lot for the storms, heat waves or heavy rain. So, this will be helpful for the people, or it will prevent the most destruction or other important things which happening in that particular place. Usually it is presented through, we all can see this one in television, in weather forecast, in the news we can see this weather report, and we can also hear in the radios, and in the newspaper we can see this weather report, and nowadays we have in the mobile apps, and then in the website also we can check this weather report. Next is the season. We all know that the earth is tilted and it is a spherical in shape. If it is going to be a flat surface, the sun's rays which we receive in the earth's surface will be even, but as it is a spherical in shape, so what happens, the sun's rays will be unevenly distributed, and the earth's surface which face the sun will receive the high insolation, and which is far away will receive the slanting rays of sun. The next one is that the revolution. So, we know that the earth's revolution happens around the sun. So, this is the two major reason for the formation of seasons. So, season have the changes in day length, temperature and insolation. So, marks its different season. So, the four important season are summer, winter, spring, autumn, and it is also otherwise known as fall season. Summer season. The summer season occurs when the hemisphere, we all know that we have two hemisphere, northern hemisphere and southern hemisphere. It's generally talk about a hemisphere which tilts towards the sun and receives direct sunlight. So, that is, it's towards the sun, the word the towards the sun. So, it receives how the intense sun rays and heat will be there in this particular summer season. And in this season, there will be a high temperature, long days and short nights. The intense solar radiation causes hot and often a dry condition, which is suitable for the growth of the plants, and it gives the that is a peak for the agricultural activity in many places. And important to note that in the northern hemisphere, that is June, August, the month is considered to be the summer season, and in the southern hemisphere, December to February is considered to be the summer season. Next is the winter season. The winter season, which occurs in the when the tilt away from the sun. What tilt away? The hemisphere tilt away from the sun. In the summer season, it's towards the sun. In the winter season, it's away from the sun, which receive the less solar radiation. So, because of this, there is a low temperature, short days and long nights. It is opposite to the summer season. The limited heating results in the slow evaporation. You all know that if there is an intense heat, the heat will be that is the insolation will be received in the earth's surface, and what happens? It will be again radiated and the evaporation process will be happening. But here, because of loss of sunshine, there is a slow evaporation and cold condition prevails here. Sometimes we have the frost condition, cold winds, snowfalls, common in higher latitudes and mountain sections. So, these are all the two important places we have this winter condition. Winter season is somewhat much common. Many plants and animals enter into dormancy and hibernation. We also feel that if it's going to be winter somewhat comparatively to the summer, so we will be somewhat drowsy or we will be very slow. The same way the earth and other process will also, like plants, animal will also have the same thing which enter into the dormancy. And again here in the northern hemisphere, that is this winter season is from December to February, and in the southern hemisphere the winter season is from June to August month. The next is the spring season. The spring season is the transition from winter to summer, which brings the warmer temperature. Again, there is a wake up situation here. That is the increasing in daylight as a sun ray strikes more directly and snow begins to melt. The frost condition begins to melt, and because of water, the vegetation blooms and marking renewal in nature. Animals also will be having the emergence from dormancy to and it begins to breeding cycles. The climate is very pleasant with mild winds and occasional rainfall. In the northern hemisphere, the spring season is from March to May, and in the southern hemisphere, the spring season is from September to November month. Next is that the autumn season, it is also called as fall season. So, this is the transition from summer to winter with a gradual cooling. So, this is the main thing. So, the daylight reduces and temperature steadily drops. It leaves changes in color and as trees enter the dormancy preparation. and the leaves colors also changes, and it is also known as a harvest season for grains and fruits. So, this season is favorable for the changing of leaves color, and then it is also helpful for the harvesting of either grains or fruits. The conditions which will be prevailing in this autumn season is crisp air with early frost or dry winds in some regions. In the northern hemisphere, the months of this autumn season is the September to November, and in the southern hemisphere it is from March to May. Now, we will be discussing about the weather instrument. Why the weather instrument is needed? What is the purpose of weather instrument? The weather instrument is needed to measure. So, if something is going to happen weather, so we will be observing, we will be sensing, but how we are going to measure, how we are going to plan it. So, if it is going to be a pleasant, there is no problem. If it is going to be an adverse situation, so we have to measure the weather condition. So, for planning the day to day activities, the instrument used to measure the atmospheric condition is called as weather instruments. The first one is thermometer. Thermometer is used to measure the temperature, air temperature. There are different types of thermometer, that is mercury, alcohol, digital, maximum and minimum thermometers, and the unit in which it is measured is degree Celsius, degree Fahrenheit and Kelvin. It is essential, it is used in weather observation, climatic studies and then weather forecasting. Next one is barometer. The barometer is helpful in measuring the atmospheric pressure. The types of barometers are mercury barometer, aneroid barometer. So, when there is a rise in pressure which indicates the fair clear weather, when there is a fall in pressure it indicates the storm rain likely to begin. So, this is the important measurement of barometer and how we can analyze the air pressure with the help of barometer. It is widely used in weather station and weather forecasting. Next one is hygrometer. So, hygrometer helps to measure the humidity. So, humidity is the water vapor content present in the air. So, what are the types of hygrometer? That is mechanical or air hygrometer, psychrometer and electronic hygrometer. So, these are all the types of hygrometer which helps to forecast the precipitation, fog and dew formation. It is essential for that is weather monitoring, agriculture and the climatic studies. Next one is wind vane. So, the wind vane shows the direction of wind. So, you can see here there is the direction. So, this cardinal direction, that is north, south, west, east. So, these direction, in which direction the wind is blowing. So, that can be identified with the help of wind vane, typically which is mounted in the rooftop. So, in order to identify, it should be in the rooftop or in the poles where the this wind vane is not disturbed. So, in the open area it is placed and the arrow or pointer align with this, which helps to identify the direction from which the wind blows. It helps in predicting the weather predictions and it is also helpful in local air pattern identification. It is commonly used in weather stations, airports and ships. The next one is anemometer. Anemometer is the instrument which helps to measure the wind speed. The types of anemometer are cup anemometer, vane anemometer, hot wire anemometer. It helps to identify the storm monitoring, wind energy studies and aviation safeties. So, it is very important instrument which is used to predict the weather conditions, that is a wind, storm, etc. It is commonly used in weather stations, airports and in the wind farms. Rain gauge. The rain gauge is the instrument which is used to measure the amount of rainfall. The types of rain gauge are, that is the standard cylindrical gauge, tipping bucket gauge and weighing gauge. So, these are all the different types of rain gauge. It is used to measure the hydrology and agriculture and in the flood prediction, that is studies. The next one is weather forecasting techniques. So, this weather forecasting techniques we have studied in the previous lecture, that is in the nature and scope. So, how far the climatology evolves. So, that is applicable here in the weather forecasting technique. The first and foremost is the weather is predicted by traditional method, that is the observation, just observing whether it is a cloudy or wind or sky color, how is it, and the natural indicators have been identified in the traditional method. The next one is the instruments. So, in the previous discussion we have come across the various instruments which is used for weather is forecasted. The next one is satellite and radar. So, the satellite and radar plays a vital role in predicting or monitoring the clouds, storms and precipitation, tracking the cyclones. The next is the numerical models, that is the computer simulation combination data for short and medium term forecast. So, these are all the techniques which is used to forecast the weather. Next one is, so far we have covered the what is meant by weather and what are all the instruments we have used and how we forecast the weather. Then now we are entering into the topic, that is climate. The climate which represent that is a composite of the day to day weather condition. It is not a particular or specific period of time. It is a composite, it is aggregate, it is an average of a weather condition which for a long period of time. So, Trivatha, the author, the climatologists have defined climate represent a composite of a day to day weather condition and of the atmospheric elements within a specific area over a long period of time. The desert region has a hot climate, India has a monsoon type of climate. So, these are all the examples of climate. Next one, based on the important person, that is a Köppen. So, the climate have been classified into 5 major types, that is tropical, that is hot and wet climate, dry or desert climate, that is we call it as arid. Next one is a temperate climate, next is a continental climate, then comes the polar climate. First is tropical or hot wet climate. You can see here that from 0 degree to 10 degree north and south, this kind of tropical climate will be experienced in the both northern and southern hemisphere. The temperature will be high because the sun's rays will fall directly in the equator region and it will be more than 25 degrees Celsius and minimum seasonal variation of climatic condition will be there, and the rainfall will also be very high, that is above 200 centimeters per year. So, because of high temperature which leads to the high rainfall, mainly the convectional and ITC driven rainfall will be happening this in this region. The next one is the humidity and cloud. The cloud will be the humidity will be very high and frequent cloud formation will be there, which leads to high rainfall. And the next is the vegetation. If there is plenty of rainfall, automatically the vegetation will be having a favorable condition for their growth. So, there is a dense evergreen forest and rich biodiversity will be seen in this particular tropical zone, that is a tropical climate region. That is the major regions are Amazon basin, Congo basin, Indonesia, Malaysia and then coastal India. So, these are all the places which experiences this tropical hot wet climate. The next one is dry or desert climate, we call it as arid climate. So, this climate occurs in the 15 degrees to 30 degree north and south latitudes. So, we call it as a tropical and subtropical zones. Rainfall will be extremely low. The name itself implies that it is a dry or a desert climate. So, it is a extremely low rainfall will be there below 25 centimeter per year. The temperature will be very hot days and very cold night, which leads to the large diurnal range. The sky and radiation will be, the clear sky will be there and intense solar radiation will occur in this particular zone, and the humidity comparatively it will be very low and dry air prevails in this dry region, and vegetation will be sparse because it does not support the growth of the vegetation. The variety of vegetation will be the cactus variety, and then shrubs, and then drought resistant plant will be there. The major region which covers all the desert region of the world, that is Sahara, Arabian desert and Thar desert, Kalahari desert and Atacama deserts are the major regions which experience this dry or desert climate. Temperate climate. So, the temperate climate which experience in the that is 30 degree to 60 degree northern southern hemisphere. The temperature will be a moderate, not extreme. In this particular temperate climate, we can experience the 4 seasons. That is here, the season will be the 4 distinct seasons: summer, spring, autumn and winter, and the rainfall which is distributed will be well distributed rainfall, and cyclones and frontal rainfall is a common in this climatic condition, and the vegetation here will be at deciduous forest and grasslands will be there in this temperate climate. Overall, the major region which covers this temperate climate is Western Europe, Eastern USA, Southern Australia, parts of China. So, all these region covers this temperate climate. Next is the continental climate. The continental climate is the word continent. Continental means the continentality. It is far away from the water bodies. So, this is the main thing. So, how far the temperature will be? There is a large diurnal range of hot summer and cold winters will be there. The rainfall will be low to moderate, mainly in the summer season. It will be there. Next one is the humidity. The dry air, due to the distance of water bodies, the air will be very dry, and the season will be the long harsh winter, that is snow will be in winter, and short growing season, that is a thunderstorm is a major weather phenomena, local weather phenomena in continental climate region, and the vegetation such as the grasslands, that is steppes, prairies, mixed forest are the most important vegetation seen in this continental climate. The major region covers are the Central Asia, Siberia, interior USA and Canada. So, these regions this continental climate is seen. Last climatic region is the polar region. So, we can see here, that is the location above 65 degree north and 55 degree south. We call it as Arctic region and Antarctic region. The temperature will be extremely cold here, and often minus degrees will be experienced in these polar regions, that is polar climate. The season will be very long dark winter, short cool summers. The precipitation will be low because most of the places will be having the frost nature, and humidity and wind will be the low humidity, and strong icy winds will be there, and the vegetation which can survive that particular extreme cold condition can survive here, that is mosses, lichens and small shrubs will be seen in this polar climate, and wildlife such as cold adapted wild animals like polar bear, seals and then penguins are common here in polar climate. What are all the climatic and human activities, how it influences it? The climate and human activity is highly associated. The climate affects the season as well as how far the agricultural activity have been taken place, whether it requires irrigation, and what is the rainfall, whether it is a excessive rainfall, that is a flood condition, whether there is a less rainfall, drought condition, and how the people always prefer to live in the pleasant climatic condition, that is plain section and valley section. So, it is the extreme zones limits the habitats, and the cold areas needs the heating, and then warm area needs the cooling thing. So, the renewable energy depends on the local climate, and the dress we wear and then the house we construct and food habits we have all dependent upon the climatic condition, and there are seasons which influences the festivals and traditions. Summing up of the today's lecture, That is, weather is a short term condition and climate is a long term condition, and it depends upon the local factors such as latitude, altitudes, winds, and it involves the elements also, that is temperature, humidity and rainfall. Altogether, the local phenomena like breeze and storm affects the daily condition. Measures using the variable weather instruments. The seasons are caused because of the earth tilt, and climate types guides how people form, live and walk. So, in such a way the weather and climate is closely associated with the human life and influence the human life. So, with this today we conclude our today's lecture. In the upcoming lecture, we will be discussing in detail about what all the elements and factors which influences the climatic condition. Thank you.